right?
Yes, I have already started.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I think welcome to the first class. Uh, this is about project management. We are going to do two competencies out of the 12. Now, I'll give you an introduction how this course is structured. Unlike the education system, which is called higher education in Australia and worldwide, where we have lectures and theories, and you actually appear for exams. Skills training is basically more coaching and mentoring and making sure that whatever skills are designed to be delivered are actually practiced in the class, and then assessment or assignments are given, which you just submit. And once you submit those ones, if you have got all the answers correct, that means you have been satisfactory or competent in the skills. For example, let's talk about the skill of driving. Now, in the driving, what we do is normally first we do a knowledge test. That means in the knowledge test, we go through some test in which we know the knowledge pertaining to driving, which is what is a stop sign, what is red signal means, what is green signal means, what is a sign called left turn and right turn. So after we pass the knowledge test, then the practical has to be completed, in which you will be sitting in a car behind a wheel and you will actually drive in the road. Now, when you're driving in the road, if you see a stop sign and you can stop, if you see there is a red light, you can stop. That means now you're demonstrating your practical skills of being competent to get a driving license. Same thing is happening here in the skills training, is that we will give you some knowledge and we will test that the knowledge is well understood and you acquired, and it's all open book because there is nothing to be memorized. That means that knowledge test is uh, passed, and then we will do some practical assignments in which the same knowledge will be applied in a real life situation. And if we do well in that practical uh, case study or task, that means we are competent in the skills or the elements of the skills which are required to be acquired. That's how it goes. So basically, uh, it's easy because there's no exam per se. There is every assignment is open book, and every assignment can be attempted multiple times till you get competent. And for after each attempt, then what we do is we actually again go through the same questions and see what are the skill gaps, why you didn't get it right in the first place. And once the skills gaps are all uh, plugged in, then obviously you demonstrate that you have the knowledge and you can apply those in a real life situation. So that's how it'll go on. So therefore, the 3 hours that we're going to spend every class, you will probably get ready in the class itself. And the little bit which is left, you can always go back and then submit it later. Is this clear at this point of time? Before I proceed further, I want to hear some voices of the participants. Is this clear?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Now, the second thing which is most important here to understand is why we are taking this course. And the reason for taking this course is that no matter how much of domain knowledge you have in the engineering that you're doing, ultimately the employers are looking for the skills that they require for you to be performing on the job from day one. So therefore, the job skills are a little different from the knowledge of any subject. And even if you have knowledge on any subject, as I gave you the example of the driving, the knowledge is not sufficient till you apply that knowledge in the real roads. So real roads in our life is basically the workplace. So in the workplace, you first day when you go into a workplace, you will be seeing that your boss will give you probably a project or a task. A task can be a project. Okay. Now for the task, if you have done it before, you can do it very well. But if you have not done it before, then obviously there will be a problem because someone has to teach you how to do that task. An example is that suppose you have done accounting. Now you have in the accounting learned what is balance sheet, what is profit and loss statement. But in real life, if your boss tells you, this is the file of a company, can you create the balance sheet or the profit and loss statement? You may not be able to do that because you've never done it. So this course is actually doing it yourself. So therefore, there will be a lot of interaction between you and I will coach you and guide you to do those activities and tasks so that you have done it of your own. So in the organization, when someone tells you, can you do it again? You said, yes, I can do it because I've done it in past. So that's what is the difference between a job ready program and just a knowledge based degree program. So you're combining now your knowledge based degree program with some amount of skills. So therefore, when you go to the organization on the first day, you will be able to deliver the tasks or the projects which are given to you. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Now, two things happens. Um, I'll give you a quick background of myself. So I have been in your shoes as early as 1974 to 1979. I was an alumni of IIT Kharagpur, so I did my engineering from 74 to 79. I lived in Nehru Hall at that point of time, old campus. And then I joined IIM Ahmedabad to do my MBA, and then I joined a job. Well, my first job was Voltas. In the first job, when the boss told me that you have done very well in academics, can you do a project for me? My question is, how do I do it? Can you help me learning that? The reason is no one told me how, when a task or a project is given to me, how to approach the task. There's a process, there is a structure. Someone had to teach me in real life. But what we are doing is now I'm going to teach you that so that any project given to you or any task which is given to you, you will be able to do it because probably you will know even more or better than your seniors, or maybe sometime better than some of your bosses because they have not done a formal course on project management, whereas you will be doing it. Now, the same thing happens during the interview process. In the interview process, there are 10 people who are extremely good, but there's only one job. So how do the employers choose that one person and the 9 does not get the job? Now, because I have been working for over 40 years and I've gone to many, many campuses to recruit students, I know the only way I can choose someone is someone who is ready for my job and demonstrate in the interview that they are ready. Now, what does it mean? That means that I'm saying all 10 has got fantastic knowledge because they're all have got very good CVs and very good mark sheets and come from IIT Kharagpur. Now, I only have one job. So therefore, the differentiation is who is job ready. So what I'm going to prepare you is for job readiness. And therefore, during the interview and while preparing your CV, you will be writing, this is what you have done extra so that you can apply your knowledge in, say, agricultural engineering into a real life project. And therefore, you will be you can demonstrate that you're better than the others because everyone has got agricultural engineering knowledge. You have the engineering knowledge, plus you have the delivery of the engineering project. Okay, so therefore you are unique, you are valuable, and you will be picked up for the job. I'll stop here and ask, is this clear?
Yes, sir. It's clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we will continue to ask these questions as we progress. Now, I quickly want a 1 minute introduction of all of you who has joined today. Can you just take 1 minute to say who you are, which year you are in, what engineering you're doing, and what's the reason for you to join this course and what you're expecting from this course? Okay, just take not more than 1 minute. Who wants to go first?
Yes, sir. This is Tarun Tej Tadano. I'm third year undergraduate student from the Agriculture Food Engineering Department. So, apart from the general courses that I generally listen on a daily basis, like as you are mentioning, sir, the engineering knowledge, as you have mentioned, since I'm not actually gone through the course actually, so I'm expecting something different, exciting, and that keeps me engaged throughout the course. Like the engineering courses are not such designed like I'll be interested throughout the course maybe, but I'm expecting such type of interaction with this. That's it. Thank you.
Very good. And how do I call you?
Tarun, sir.
Tarun?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's good because your name is coming very small, but Tarun, okay, good. Who wants to go next?
Um, my name is Jayachandra Ramesh Kallakotagar. I'm a third year UG student from the Department of Agricultural and Food Engineering. I'm from Shirsi, Karnataka, and I'm border of Radhakrishnan Hall of Residence. And from this course, I'm expecting how to approach a problem in a structured manner. Like that is what
Right.
I'm expecting to learn from this course.
Mhm. So I will write down the names so that I don't forget. So the first person spoke was Tarun. Now, can I call you Jay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, okay, that'll be easier for me to remember, Jay. This is an interacting course, so it's very important that we talk to each other very, very regularly in the class because I'll be your guide by your side and I will make sure that you're job ready. Okay, so Jay, okay, now who wants to go next?
Hello, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, sir. Hello, this is Jyotiraditya, a third year undergraduate from the Department of Agriculture and Food Engineering. Sir, I am from West Bengal, and sir, my aim is to learn this course because besides the course that was being taught in our department from agricultural engineering, to learn the things more outside from the course and to handle the problem in some kind of structured manner, so that I can give up more in the upcoming in my session. So that's the main aim to learn this course actually.
Perfect. And how do I address you? Your
Uh,
name?
Sir Jyotiraditya.
Jyoti. Can I call you Jyoti?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Jyoti. Okay, Jyoti. Yeah. Yes, Jyoti, definitely I will help you in terms of learning a very structured way of delivering any task which is given to you. And not
Yes,
only that, I will continuously ask you to also think of in the interview, how can you showcase what you've learned here? So during the interview process, you should be able to tell the employer, look, give me any task, any project, I will deliver better than others. Okay. So I will use those, I will teach you all these things. Okay. Terrific, Jyoti. Who is number 4?
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, I can hear you.
My name is Deepak Kumar. I am a third-year undergraduate student from the Department of Agricultural and Food Engineering. I am a boarder of Rajendra Prasad Hall of Residence. I want to learn from this course is how to do a task in a structured way, and I want to learn some managerial skills.
Fantastic. This is exactly what I'm going to teach you, Deepak. This is a project management course. That means managers. You will be a project manager. You will be trained to be a manager, and therefore you will be able to manage any project. And I'll give the definition of the project very soon today. So that means any task, any assignment, including your education assignments, I'll teach you how to approach that. And that will be like a manager. So definitely you will get that. Thank you, Deepak. Who is next?
Hello, I'm Padma Shri, third year undergraduate student of the Agriculture and Food Engineering Department. I'm from Karnataka, and I joined this course mainly because I want to learn the management skills.
Correct. Thank you, Padma. And can I call you Padma?
Yes, sir. Sure.
Okay. Thank you, Padma. Yes, you will definitely learn the managerial skill as the best managers in the world learns. Okay. I teach the top Australian managers who work in 128 councils in New South Wales. New South Wales, where Sydney is. In our state, we have got 128 councils, like the municipal councils or corporations that you have, and the project managers who deliver all the projects. I exclusively train them project management. So what I train them, I'm going to train you also to be a manager. Okay. Next is, after that, who is next?
Hello, sir. So, is my voice audible?
Yes. Can you bring the microphone close to your mouth? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. I'm Shah, and third year undergraduate from the Department of Agriculture and Food Engineering. My main motto of joining this course was like, most probably I have heard that when you work in corporate company, we'll be mostly dealing with the projects. So I actually want to learn how basically what are the major skills to handle a project from scratch and to making it a successful project. That's the main reason for me joining this particular course.
Right. And I didn't catch your name.
Shreya.
Shreya?
Yes, sir.
Shreya, okay. Shreya, I will call you Shreya. Yes, Shreya, you have learned it absolutely right. Uh, in any organization that you work, unless you're doing a routine, repetitive job, most of the other jobs are projects. So therefore, the moment you show that you have project management skills, you're always ahead of the pack. For example, if you want to go and work in a, say, Price Waterhouse or Deloitte, and they want to send you abroad, even the client would like to know whether Shreya has got project delivery experience. If you can deliver projects, you will be picked up. If there are 2 or 3 CVs are there, they will say, no, we want Shreya to work in our project because the Shreya has got some skills competency. And here you are having a skills competency from an Australian perspective. This is a formal Australian education. This is not created by me or anyone else. This is Australian government's formal competency skills qualification. So you can say you're trained with an Australian qualification, which is accepted worldwide. And you can write that in your CV that it is like a gold standard. Okay, so I'm sure you will be beneficial. It will be beneficial for you. Is there anyone else today joined? Gaurav, I can't see. Gaurav and Praveen, I can't see how many people joined. So maybe you can tell me if I missed anyone.
I think everyone has mentioned their name. Shreya, Deepak, Jayachandra, Jyotiraditya, Padmasree, Tarun and Utkarsh.
Okay, so Utkarsh hasn't spoken as yet.
I think, yeah. Utkarsh, are you there?
Okay, so maybe we can talk about Utkarsh a little later. But at least I have the name so that I can call you by the names. That was the main purpose, and to understand that looks like all of you are from the third year agriculture engineering. So that's very good. So let's start, and you will see every session I will give you some very key but very less number of concepts and theories that you need to learn and practice. Because if I give you too much, then obviously it'll take longer and you may be confusing. So I'll give you to the point what is required. So let's start with understanding what is project management. Anyone has an idea what is a project management? Do you think you have ever done a project? Anyone can let me know if you've delivered any project in past? Yes or no? If yes, I want to see a thumbs up. If no, you say no. Anyone? You're all muted, so I can't hear you. Anyone thinks they have done project management before? Delivered a project before?
Yes, sir. Like we can give the name of a project to any small task that we do to the biggest, I guess.
Correct. Tarun, you're absolutely right. All of you have done projects in past. Though the answer is that, oh, I don't know project management, I have not done. For example, if you have gone for a picnic and you plan the picnic and you manage the picnic, even as a team member, you have been delivering projects as a team member, may not be the manager in charge. Okay. So if you have gone on a holiday with your family, and you have taken some initiative to plan some part of the holiday, that means you have done a project. Similarly, in your exams or in your IIT, whatever the course, you continue to deliver some assignments, some exams. So those are projects. Okay. So therefore, we all have been a project manager, except we don't know what processes we followed and what are the best processes that can be followed, so that we are confident and we can say, yes, I am a qualified professional project manager. So currently you are a project manager, but my job is to show to you what competency you could apply or you have applied to be a project manager. So Tarun was right in saying that we all have done project. So let's see the first slide. Okay. So put very simply, a project is any piece of work that has a beginning and an end. Okay, so you've gone for a holiday, it started and holiday also finished. So that is the project. Therefore that's a project. Okay, there was an exam which has a start and an end. So everything that you prepare and plan for the exam has got it's called a project. Okay, so anything which has got a beginning and an end. Now my question to you: suppose you are doing accounting work, you are doing a bookkeeping. Okay, every day some bills are coming and some bills will have to be paid. You are entering in the books. Do you think that will be a project? Can you call that a project if you're bookkeeping, you're, getting bills like the expenses, and you're actually entering that in the books of account. Do you think
Sir,
it will be called a project?
it doesn't have an end, so I think can't follow.
Correct. So, Jyoti, you're absolutely right. Because it doesn't have an end, it will keep coming day after day, every single day, and therefore it cannot be called a project. So you're doing very well. Till now, you're doing very well. So now you understand what is a project. Anything which has got a start and an end is a project. Clear? We'll do some quiz at the end. So that's your competency test. So follow what we are doing slide by slide. Okay. So the next is, therefore, if you're a project manager, PM is a short form of project manager. If you're a project manager, there are 10 functions or the 10 elements of any project delivery that you will be doing. So the 10 functions is written here. Okay, to deliver a project, there are 10 functions, and we'll practice that together. The first one is scope management. What is the scope of the project? Second one is time management. Third is cost management. Fourth is quality management. Fifth is human resource or people management. Sixth is managing the communication of the project. Seventh is the risk of the project. Eighth is the procurement of the project. Ninth is the integrating or coordinating part of the project. And 10 is the stakeholder management, or managing all the people who has a stake in the project. Okay, these are the four. I'll share the PowerPoint presentations with you. I'll give it to Gaurav and Praveen, and they can actually email to you or upload in the Google. You can actually download and keep it for yourself. But for the sake of understanding the 10 functions of a project manager, it's very important that we know which are the 10 ones. Okay. Now, to learn this, its knowledge is not sufficient. We need to apply that in any project that we have done. So I will go around to all of you, and I want you to tell me any project that you have done, any task that you have done, how did you manage the scope? So who wants to give me one example? Talk about any task that you have delivered, and what do you mean by the scope of that task?
Sir, actually, I've worked on a project where I was given a task to look up the policy DTUKY, which mainly focus on skill development, which is being executed in each and every state of India. So basically, the scope was to look after what are the loopholes by the government and ease the whatever the funds and whatever the skill development program the government is assuring, is it being reached to the every rural public or not? That is the scope.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Very good answer. Very good answer, Shreya. So what we have learned from Shreya's experience, the scope means defining what are the deliverables. Okay? Defining someone, your boss has called you in the job and say, this is the deliverable that I want. And that is the scope. For example, if you're constructing a bridge, then the deliverable is constructing a bridge, which is maybe, 20 feet long, 5 feet wide. It has got some hand railing, and it is made of cement and concrete. So all these are deliverables, and therefore it has to be defined accurately by the project manager so that you know what is expected out of you. So in very simple terms, scope management means understanding the scope and managing the project to deliver the deliverables. Clear? Okay. Can someone give an example of the time management? What is time management in any project management?
So like for any particular task a person has take up, there should be an initial like a particular deadline where the task need to be executed. Because like not for an assignment for us, but on a larger scale in corporate, we see that time is almost calculated to money. So it needs to be completed in a like scheduled time within the time limit, so that if there even any kind of further improvements which can be even done or we can redefine the scope, that would be like easily accessible. That's what I think.
Fantastic. Very good answer. The keyword, Shreya, you talked about is the deadline. Every project which will be given to you in the organization, along with the definition of the project or the deliverable, your boss will say, I want it by so and so time. That means there will be a deadline. So that is called a constraint. The constraint of a project that you don't have unlimited time. You have a defined timeline within which you have to deliver the project. So time management is managing the time so that from start to finish, you deliver the project within the deadline. Clear? Okay. Now, who wants to give an example of the cost management? Just try any project, even cooking is a project. Writing exam is a project. Okay? Going on holiday is a project. Constructing a house is a project. So,
Uh,
what do you mean by cost? Yeah.
sir,
Sir,
so
sir, cost is something that related to the human labor, machine equipment related thing, and if at all at some expenditure related in the if the machine goes in the problematic way, then some expenditure will happen in an annual basis that may be come under the cost.
Very good. Excellent. I couldn't see you in the screen. So who was it?
Sir Jyotiraditya.
Jyoti. Okay. Yeah. Jyoti, you are absolutely right. Every project, whatever activity that you do, it has got something related to cost, because if if you are doing it alone, then your time can be costed out. If you're doing it together with 4 or 5 other people, so obviously they're delivering the project. So therefore, it's a labor cost. Their time is a labor cost. Similarly, for delivering a project, I gave the example of you're making a bridge. So some cement, some materials will have to be purchased. So that is cost. Some equipment will have to be hired, a crane, a tractor or a trawler, something has to be hired. So therefore, that will cost you money. So managing the total cost of the project is the cost management aspect. Okay. Now, the bad news is every project has a constraint of cost also. The boss will tell you, I want you to deliver this, but within this cost. So therefore, cost management is managing the project within the budget given to you. Okay. Remember when you were a child, you wanted to go for a movie and you ask your parents that, mother or father, please give me 100 rupees. Okay. Or 200 rupees, whatever. So basically, if the going to a movie had a beginning and an end, that means it's a task, it's a project, and you estimated that it'll cost you 100 rupees for that, because maybe 10 rupees to take a bus, maybe 50 rupees for a ticket, and maybe another 20 rupees for some snacks, and maybe another 10 rupees to come back, and maybe another 10 rupees as contingency. So your parents gave you that 100 rupees. That means you were told that, look, the budget for going to movie and getting a good evening or good afternoon is constrained by 100 rupees only. So therefore, the cost is also another constraint. Okay, so we have already seen three constraints. Scope is a constraint because it's not unlimited scope. There is a specific scope. Okay, like in this case, going to a movie is a specific scope. So scope, time, and cost, these are constraints. You manage the project within the constraint. Now, what is quality? Now, the quality management is essentially you define the quality standards and make sure the project is delivery as per the quality standard. For example, I may have 15,000 rupees given by my parents to buy a smartphone. Now, I also know smartphones are available for 25 or 30,000 rupees. Now, question is for 15,000, I'll get one type of quality of a smartphone. For 25,000, I'll get a different type or different quality of smartphone. I'll get a better quality smartphone. So therefore, quality is also constrained in a project. And therefore, this constraint is also will be given to you, or you will be articulating what is the constraint on the quality. Now, constraint is defined through the quality standards. So if you are preparing a project report, you will see the standard for delivering. For example, suppose you're buying a laptop. Your quality specification will be what is there in the specification in the website of, say, Dell computers. The specification will say it is a 4 GB RAM, 500 GB storage. It has got this kind of smart card, this kind of a graphic card. So a specification is given to you. Now that will cost you, I'm just saying, maybe 50,000 rupees. But if you had 1 lakh rupees, you might look for completely different specification and completely different qualities. So therefore, quality has to be specified in every project. So when you are a project manager, one of your tasks will be to define the quality and the standard, define the quality standard, and then deliver the approved quality for the cost which has been assigned to you. Is that clear? Okay,
Yes.
good. Very good. Now, this next one is human resource. Now, can someone tell me from any project that you have done, what type of human resources you had to use for delivering that project?
Sir, I haven't done, but I can give an example of the same trip. If we plan, we would need a driver, we would need someone to cook for us in the picnic, and that's like they will be the human resource for our job to be done or our project to be done.
Fantastic. Very good example. And that was who, Jay?
Yes, sir.
That was Jay. Okay, Jay, very good example. That's what we do. Like, to deliver a project, you need people. Okay. So the management of those people are the management of the human resources. Like you give the example, if you're going on a picnic, you need a car and therefore you need a driver. Okay. Now, to do a picnic, you will need someone to cook food for ourselves. So therefore, the people who are cooking are human resources for the project. So therefore, you will be managing. Now, remember, sometime you have project team who are people who deliver the project. Sometime you outsource it, and therefore you hire third-party external contractors. So as a project manager, you will also manage the third-party external contractors. Okay, so that is the human resource part of the project manager's job. So can you see here, already you are a manager because you're managing people. Okay, so the competency that you're learning here is managing people, and therefore you are a manager. If you don't learn the management of how to how to manage people, you will not be able to be a good project manager. So in the interview, you can always say that I know the tools and techniques of managing people. And now this is one of the strongest reason a person hires, because you will be probably hired in the junior manager category and you will be paid a good salary to demonstrate your leadership quality to manage people. And therefore, learning human resource management will help you in terms of writing your CV and also explaining during your interview process that, sir, I can manage an agricultural engineering project. Okay. Now remember these 10 which you're seeing in the screen, these are the 10 competencies that is part of a full qualification. Here it is called Diploma of Project Management. It is a 1-year course where one of these are learned in 1 month. What we are doing in the 4 weeks, next 4 Saturday, is learning the 9th one, which is the integration. Can you see the 9th one is called integration? So we'll be learning only one of them. And I will decide whether we want to pick up another one from here or there are 2 more, which is managing yourself and managing people. So initially we thought we can do managing people or managing a team. If we do that, then you will be actually getting exposure or competency in 2 out of 12 functions of a project manager out of the 12 months program. Okay, so that's what we have set ourselves for. And if everything goes well, then obviously you can continue to learn, because in that case, we can continue to deliver the rest of the 12 for you to be a complete project manager. So that was a good example. Okay, and thanks, Jay, for that. Now, the next one is communication. Why do you think communication is important in delivering a project?
In a project, to share the ideas we have with the team members or with the investors, we need communication skills.
Fantastic. If you don't communicate, how do you manage, integrate, or coordinate? Okay. If you don't communicate, for example, now there's a Russia and Ukraine war is going on. Now that's a project. It has got to start and probably it'll end someday. That's a project. Now, if you were the army general of one of the countries, you are planning the project and you're using all these 10 functions plus 2 more, which is managing self and managing people, and you will not be able to win the war or deliver a war game without communicating to several people on several platforms and several times. Okay, it is that important. What do you communicate? How do you communicate? Whom do you communicate? Communication based on the needs. So therefore, any project, communication is a big part, very, very big part, communication. Without the communication, most projects fail. Now, I can tell you many, many times we have hired a person in a job interview whose communication skills are better than the others. Because communication skills also reflects what is going on in your mind. If you can follow your mind and articulate it with right choice of words, using the right sentence, which gives the meaning to what you want to communicate to the other person, that means you are a better manager and therefore you get hired. So there is science and technology and tools and techniques for communication management. And whoever does this course completely will also learn those techniques of what to communicate, how to communicate, whom to communicate, how often to communicate. So communication is also a function of a project manager. So we are doing extremely well till now. So who wants to give some examples of risk management? What do you understand? What do you think of risk in a project, and how do we manage that?
Sir, if at all being a team member or being a project member, we are unable to complete the project within a defined time, then obviously it will be a risk.
Correct. So one of the risks that was Jay.
No, no, sir, Jyotiraditya.
Oh, that was Jyoti Aditya. Okay. So Jyoti, you are absolutely right. One of the risks in a project is to burst the time or
Yes, sir.
just go beyond the time or the deadline given to you. Okay, so that is a risk. Similarly, if you burst the cost, the budget, that is also a risk. Okay, very good. There are many other risks also. If you Google search, you will see there are at least 28 to 30 categories of risks. That could be political risk, that could be social risk, that could be economical risk, that could be finance risk. So just do a Google search of your own some point of time till we cover risk management as a full 1 month course. You will get a good understanding of what are the risks in any project. And you, as a project manager, will have to understand that these are the risks, and you should have a plan not to encounter those risks, or you must have a plan when there is a risk comes, you should be able to mitigate those risks. And therefore, you will be managing the risk. And if you manage the risks, your project will be delivered on time, within the budget, given the cost, and given the quality. So your project will be delivered the way it is supposed to be delivered, which we call risk-free. Okay. So therefore, risk management is also a management of your is a task of a project manager. So let's take the example let's take the example of the picnic. We are going for the picnic, which is a project. What do you think could go wrong? What are the risks in that picnic that can go wrong?
Maybe an accident.
Weather
You can
change.
have an
Time.
come again. Yeah, one at a time, please.
Weather change, like sudden weather
Well,
change.
yeah, weather could be a risk which can spoil your picnic. Accident could spoil your picnic. Padma, you were saying something?
With timing, sir. And we plan to start at a particular time and we missed it.
Correct. So you missed that, because, for example, you're going on a picnic and also you wanted to see the sunrise. But if you got late, then obviously you missed the sunrise, so time could be a risk. Yeah, similarly, the food could be a risk, like catering, someone forgot to bring the salt, someone forgot to, get the dessert. So all these could impact your experience of final delivery of the project. So now we have got a very good understanding of in any project, if anything can go wrong, it will go wrong. That's a Murphy's law. Okay. So no matter how well you plan, there will be some risks. And therefore, you as a project manager need to know several elements of risk management. The next one is procurement. Who can give examples of procurement?
Sir, maybe if we are preparing some dish, the ingredients that we require for completing that on a small
Correct.
scale.
Correct, Tarun. You're absolutely right. Procurement means anything that you need to buy or procure or hire, which will go as an ingredient or an element to deliver the project. So for example, the picnic example, the car hire is a procurement. Okay, going for shopping and buying the vegetables and buying the masalas and buying maybe the fish or fruits, that's a procurement. So basically, procurement is of material procurement. Procurement could be of equipment procurement. procurement can also be procuring manpower. Like you want to take a professional cook so that we all can enjoy the picnic, play games, while we procured a caterer who will be, who will be preparing the food for us. Okay. So you as a project manager will also do procurement function. Now this procurement function is known as procurement or contract administration. Now these are, it goes by different names, and we can always talk about those ones as we progress. But basically we understood that procurement is one of the function. Okay, something has gone wrong. New channel meeting. I can't see. It shows new channel meeting here. So you all can see me, and is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, everything is okay.
Everything
From
is
our side,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, so I have now somehow I've not been able to see all of you. Okay, I've clicked and it came back. Okay, good. Thanks. Is there a way, Gaurav, we can next time onwards we can do it on Zoom, because I'll feel much comfortable.
Yeah, actually, if it is okay, then maybe next time we can do it in Zoom also.
Okay.
There also we can do it. Yeah, exactly, we can do it. I'll talk to the students and
Yeah, I think Zoom will be easy. We'll give it a try, the Zoom, because all these technical problems will not be there, and I can feel much more comfortable in delivering. Yeah, okay. So procurement we have followed. Now I'll come to integration last, because that's today's topic, and not today's topic, the whole of this 4 weeks topic. So let's do the stakeholder first. So what do you think? Who are the stakeholders in any project?
They can be team members and project managers, users, customers, etc.
Fantastic. That is perfect, Deepak. Stakeholders means anyone who's got a stake in the project. So if you're going on a picnic, the people who are going in the picnic, like your team members, they are a stakeholder. Okay. If the picnic is organized from the Department of Agriculture Engineering, then of course the department bosses or department permission givers, they are the stakeholders, because they have given permission. They want to see you safe. So they're stakeholders. If anyone is sponsoring your project, anyone is giving you money to do the project, then obviously they are also your stakeholders. Okay. So basically you can do a 360-degree stakeholder, which normally is from the sponsor to your managers, to yourself, your team, your contractors, the community. If you're doing a project, like for example, building a bridge, which helps in terms of crossing from this side of the river to the other side, that means the community who is going to get the benefit of the bridge construction. So they are a stakeholder. So almost anyone and everyone who has something to do with the project is a stakeholder, including sometimes the government or the corporations. They become a stakeholder because they want to see that you are doing things as per the law of the land, and therefore they also become stakeholder. Now, do you think you can deliver a project without managing the expectations and needs of the stakeholders?
no, sir.
Correct. So you cannot deliver a project well without delivering the needs and expectation of the stakeholders. And each and every stakeholder has got a different need. Each and every stakeholder has got a different expectation. So you, the manager, you, the boss, will have to deliver the needs and expectation of those stakeholders. So that is your function. Okay. And that's how you are a manager. You will be paid big money, and you will be given a team. You will be given a very important project, because you know how to manage the stakeholders. So stakeholder management, again, it's a 1 month course, 4 Saturdays, 3 weeks, 3 hours each, and we covered that. Now, I will ask you to think and tell us that the next month, which of the 10 you want, plus the 2 that I talked about, managing self and managing team. So Praveen, Gaurav, and myself, then we will decide to deliver the second, because today we are delivering the 9th one. This month we are delivering the 9th one, which is integration. That means overall coordination of the project, overall integration of the project. We will deliver this month by 4 Saturdays, 3 hours each. Okay, if you have a preference, any of you wants to know any of the 9 elements, let us know in advance. So we will deliver in the second month, the second unit of competency or the credit points.
Sir, the
Okay,
REACS
now
one. The REACS one, sir.
which one?
The REACS, the 0.7.
Oh, the risk. Yeah, definitely.
Yes,
I can
sir.
do risk. It's a very important one. Risk management is a very, very important one we can do. Praveen and Gaurav, just take a feedback offline also from the participants, which one they want. In that case, we can do that one in the second month. So risk has come from Jyotiraditya.
All right. So that, yeah.
Yeah, and then we will do. We have time, next 3 weeks, we have time to think. So risk is a good one they have picked up. Yeah. Okay. Now, so this month we are doing integration. Now, let's then understand what is the integration function of a project manager. What he will be expected to do that falls under integrating the project.
It is like joining all the pieces required to execute those uh, projects.
Absolutely, Jay, absolutely right. Joining all the dots together to make it whole. Integrating means I've got different elements. For example, cooking is a project. So suppose I'm keeping all the ingredients in the cooktop table that I am cooking today, maybe a pasta. Okay, so I've kept some spaghettis, I've kept some butter, kept some cheese, kept some salt, kept some pepper, kept some vinegar. All these are individual elements of delivering the project called a dish, called pasta, or say, let's talk it a cake. Okay, I'm preparing a cake. Unless the project manager integrates all of these, the final project delivery or the scope delivery will not happen. So the cake will not be baked and not properly baked. And not only that, the integration means putting all this together, but there is a sequence of putting those together. So preparing a cake means you need to keep the eggs ready separately. Then you have to have the flour ready separately. And there's a process of which one to go first. First the flour, then some eggs, then some sweet. Okay, so there is a process which goes in. So integrating is a function of the project manager who knows the sequence of activities to bring the project together. It is also like a band master, like a symphony master. In an orchestra, there are 100 people in the stage. Someone is playing guitar, someone is playing the drum, someone is playing the cello, okay, someone is singing. But the bandmaster with a stick standing and instructing everyone, now you come forward, now you go down, like that, and then integrating the whole opera so that the music comes alive. So that is the function of a project manager. Now, if you know what it takes, how to integrate, that means you overall know how to handle a project. Okay. Now, therefore, we have understood today, and we've got a skill that any project that we will deliver in future needs to address all the 10 elements. And that is my function as a project manager. And that's the skill I learned today. Now, I want you to all reflect for 1 minute or 2 minutes. And any project that you have done in past, have you applied all 10? If not, how many of these you applied consciously and how many you haven't? Okay, so think for 3 minutes. Apply in any project that you can think you have done in past and see which are the 10 functions. So that will give us what skills you already had and what skill gap do you have, that from now onwards you will plug in that skill gap and you will be a holistic project manager. So think for 2 minutes. Just look at these 10 elements and just write down the numbers that I've done 1, 2, 3 or 1, 5, 7, 10, and see which are the ones you use to deliver that project. And I told you, even cooking is a project. Okay, writing an exam is a project. Passing an exam in IIT Kharagpur is a project. Okay, so who wants to share? What is the project and how many of these you have used in past?
So,
I would like to share.
Yeah, Jay?
Sir, in the third SEM, we were given a project in crop production technology to come up with a new technology which is going to help the agriculture system. And we were, out of this 10, we looked after only 3 things: scope, quality, communication, and some part of the procurement. And also some
Fantastic.
part of the risk, but not all, I guess.
Fantastic. Very good. See, now already you're demonstrating that you are acquiring some skill because you can quickly identify 4 or 5 of them, which was your function as a project manager, which you did. So I'm happy you're getting competent. Okay, someone else who wants to share next?
yes, sir. Shreya, sir.
Shreya, yeah.
Sir, actually, in one of my subject, rural innovation and management, actually, Prof told us to come up with a new scheme or new idea where the rural people can get like employment. So the scope was to get like better employment or daily wages, and the time which was invested was it need to be like done in a span of 1 to 2 periods so that it can be actually initiated by the government itself. So the cost was the people like on ground people, like the people who will be spreading the awareness in the like lower panchayat levels and stuff, like mostly the cost was compared to the people and the softwares which will be using to execute a proper plan, and the data storage which will be using to know the different like people in the state, and that like some Microsoft Excel where we, or some sort of that stuff. And quality was to meet that every rural people should be getting a quality like money. And human resources, like some people like tech people, on ground people, or like the people who are good at communication, that one. And the risk we didn't go for. Integration was we need to look that each and every, like if even the widower should be getting the job employment, even the like youth people or even the older people were getting some kind of employment through some schemes. So 6 I have covered. That's it.
Fantastic. Very good example and very good identification of the skills that you had and the skills you deployed. Excellent. Very good. So who wants to go next?
Sir, I was doing a project in equity research project. So at that time, there was a scope that the need of that project was to derive the Porter's five analysis in a particular sector. And the time was that I have to complete this project within under 2 months. That was the time allotment to me, and the cost was around. It's just very simple, like you have to be in access in MS Word, MS Excel, and you have to know the graph plotting also, plus pen and paper is simple, the costings. And quality, if I say quality, matter is quality is something which can be assured through your work, I mean my work. So quality, so I will always try to enhance my quality during my project work submission. And human resource is something like I personally, me as a human resource, because I am doing the project actually. And what I have missed most probably is the risks, because I don't know how, if at all, I won't be able to submit the project in a particular given time. So what will be the risks according to that? So, and the communication obviously was there, because their need was something to do this, and obviously the stakeholder also there. So I have missed the point, the risks and the integration and procurement. No, procurement was there, so I missed the risks and the integration in that project.
Okay. Do stakeholder management?
No, sir. No, sir. Stakeholder was not there, because the company itself was the one who was delivering the needs of that project. I think they are the stakeholders of that.
Okay, so okay, maybe then you did a little bit of stakeholder management, but you need to learn a little bit more how to
Yes,
manage
sir.
the stakeholder. And yeah, good. That's also a very good example. And I'm very impressed that you talked about Porter Five Forces. So did you learn Porter's Five Forces in any course?
No, sir. Actually, equity research intern is one of my favorite topic. I mean, I will do anything in equity, so that's the thing.
Okay, no worries. I'll share with the class today in my second last slide, or Porter's Five Forces, because that's one of the tool we are going to use.
Okay.
But I'll share that. No, thanks for that. Okay, who wants to go next?
Yes, sir. This is Tarun this side.
Yeah, Tarun.
Yes, sir. Like a project. Kshitij is one of the event connected by IIT Kharagpur, Techno Management Fest. So we are supposed to deliver a website. So in that, the main concern we have is just the time, quality, human resource, and stakeholders. Remaining were like overlooked. The deadline in which the events are supposed to be deployed onto the website, and the quality of the website, like how interactive it is, and the people who are involved in getting that website deployed, and the stakeholders, of course, the clients or the users, and we ourselves for preparing it. So these are the
Fantastic.
main.
That's very good. Very good. That's a very good example again. Yeah, website. If you're working in any company, some point of time or the other, you will definitely work with the website of the company. And if you show past experience, definitely it's going to help you. And now you know that you have applied some of them, but when you apply all of them, that means your quality of success, quality of delivery will go much higher. And exactly what you're telling me is what you will be telling in an interview. You will be telling an interview by giving an example of your experience of managing a project. Okay. So it's a good practice that we are doing today. Okay. So did we cover everyone? Who's missed out? Padma, did you give an example?
Yes, in the just after the lockdown, we went with the awareness program, like through a video in the local language where the rural people can understand. There, I think I have used the factors like time, cost, and the communication, especially, and human resources where the people worked for the video and all. But yes, I have mixed the factors like risk and integration stakeholders.
Okay, good. So this itself is good. That means you have been able to identify the functions like human resource, like communication. See, time, scope, and cost is almost there for every project. It's an easiest because these are the constraints under which you deliver a project. So you will see all of you will have delivered a scope of a project within a specific time and within the budget which has been given to you. So those are the easy. The others, as you keep adding, you become a complete project manager. And that's I'm identifying that as your skill gap that we need to learn as we progress. Okay. So we got Tarun, Jay, Jyoti has also spoke, Deepak spoke, Padma spoke, Shreya spoke.
No,
Okay, and
no, sir, I haven't.
oh, you haven't, okay.
Yes, sir.
So
I can
Deepak,
take.
okay, Deepak, yeah, please.
Currently, I am doing a project in organic food chain management course. So that for the building a startup idea, so anyone can adopt that idea and continue with that idea. So that includes scope, time, cost, quality, stakeholders, and communications.
Very good. So basically, you need to incorporate maybe risk and integration, maybe.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and procurement. Yeah, oh, that's good. Okay, so now what I'm getting that all of you have a good understanding of the overview of to deliver a project, which are the 10 elements or functions that you need to look at. The next will be how deep we can go of learning the tools and techniques and management frameworks for each of them. For example, we know how to manage time, but do we have all the tools and techniques? So whenever we do time management, I will be able to explain to you and help you in terms of the tools and techniques for time management. Okay, so you may have done time management very basic, like in an Excel sheet that, okay, calendar, first day I will do this, second day I will do this, and last day I will do that. You must have done a very simple time management. But it's a 1 month course again, in which so many things we teach, where you will be a perfect manager to do time management, do scheduling, and articulating that and presenting to your bosses of a complete plan, time management plan. Good. Now that we have done that, now let's go to the next one. So this is the main thing I wanted to do today, is that understanding the 10 functions of a project manager. So we have done this activity. Instead of going on a holiday, all of you have been able to practice applying these 10 elements in your project that you explained. So we covered these two. Okay, and you've demonstrated that you have some amount of competency. So now, in terms of knowledge, we have understood that the role and responsibility of the project manager is for not 1, 2, but all 10 elements. And therefore, if you don't deliver all 10, you will not be able to be a complete project manager. So next time, you will keep an eye on which 6, 7 I have done and which are the ones I have not done, and how can I do those also. Okay, so all 10 is important. The next thing that I want to introduce today for all of us to understand, that there are methods for delivering every project. There's only one method. Okay, so like for example, to go from point A to point B, there are different methods or modes you can use. You can use a bus, you can use a taxi, you can take a flight, you can walk, you can cycle. So there are different methods. Similarly, in project management, there are different methodology. I want you to look at these ones and Google search later if you want to know about each of them. But basically, because it's a fundamental of project management, I will be focusing more on the first one, which is PMBOK, the details of which is called Project Management Body of Knowledge. throughout this course, we will do project management body of knowledge because that's the gold standard that can be used for all projects. And that's got fantastic protocol to manage all projects worldwide. However, having said so, there are some IT projects where probably you will use either Prince2 or Agile. And I'll give you some idea what they are. There are some projects which can be done like a waterfall. The methodology is waterfall and explain to you. So I will take 3 of these today to explain. The rest you can probably research of your own. So let's see the first one. What is PMBOK methodology? PMBOK stands for Project Management Body of Knowledge. So the body of knowledge is a set of standard terminology and guidelines. So those terminology and guidelines put together becomes a knowledge body, a knowledge base. Okay. So all these standard vocabulary, terminology, guidelines put together is called PMBOK methodology. Okay. It is a good practice guide to enhance the chance of success, of you as a project and the project and the success of you as a project manager and the success of the project. So it's a good practice guide. PMBOK is a body of knowledge. When you apply the body of knowledge, it's a good practice guide that you use to deliver PMBOK. And as I mentioned, this is the most universally accepted methodology, and you will be learning the most universally accepted methodology. So today, if you work in an agriculture project, tomorrow in an IT project, third day in a construction project, fourth day in a virus vaccination development project, you can apply PMBOK. Similarly, you can apply PMBOK in a project if you work in India. You can apply PMBOK if you go to Middle East and deliver a project. If you come to Australia and do a project, you can apply PMBOK. PMBOK is also accepted in UK, US, Canada, and therefore worldwide. Okay, so therefore I'm saying applicable to most projects. And what this methodology? This methodology talks about 5 processes applied to deliver a project and 10 knowledge areas. We have already seen the 10 knowledge areas. The knowledge about managing scope, the knowledge about managing cost, then your knowledge and expertise of managing quality. So 10 knowledge areas and 5 process groups. And we'll see those 5 process groups later, maybe next class in details. So that is what PMBOK is about. So having said so, can I see whether you understood this part of the knowledge? Who can articulate in your own words what is PMBOK methodology? And I said everything is open book. So read this and articulate in your own way what is a PMBOK methodology. When you are a project manager, your bosses or your sponsor or the consultants, they will ask, what methodology are you using? And you need to say, I am using one of these methodology. Okay, so therefore it's important for you to know this knowledge and to have the skill of PMBOK or Agile or Prince or Waterfall. So I want you to, therefore, articulate. Someone in the job interview asks, what methodology do you use? And you say PMBOK. They will say, can you explain what PMBOK methodology is? Okay. So try to talk in your own words.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yep.
Sir, what does 5 process groups mean here?
Yeah, the 5 process group is basically the 5 processes are the processes involving initiating the project. I will cover that in the next class, next Saturday. Okay, but I will explain today the 5 processes are how to initiate a project. Project is a process. How to plan a project is a process. How to implement or deliver a project is a process. How to monitor and control is a process. And how to close or complete the project is a process. So these are the 5 processes which is covered in the PMBOK methodology. Okay. So who wants to give it a try? I'm the interviewer. I'm interviewing you for you to get a job as a project manager in my company. I've asked you the question, can you tell me, your CV says that you got some competence in project management. Can you tell me what methodology you use for delivering your project? And can you explain the methodology to me, please?
So PMBOK is a set of guidelines which is applicable for all kinds of mostly all kinds of projects, which basically talks about five process groups, and no, it basically tells us about how to execute the 5 process groups using all the 10 knowledge areas.
Fantastic. Very good attempt. Very good attempt. Yeah. Let's see someone else attempt this.
So PMBOK is actually a methodology where it involves it already has a predefined terminology, like predefined standards for a particular project, and the main reason is it can be used in a versatile way. It can be used in like health domain, or in kind of tech domain, or in any kind of domain. And the main point is that it looks into different stages of the particular project. So it defines the 5 particular process, mainly outlooks for the all the 10 elements of the project management.
Sure, very, very well articulated. I can see you're a good candidate for shortlisting for the final interview. I'm also looking for another few people for the final interview. Can anyone give me the answer of this, please? What methodology you use for your project? And can you explain that methodology?
Sir, sir, PMBOK methodology is a project management knowledge that can be, which is consist of several terminology and guidelines, and it can be applied in a very diversified projects, that whether it can be a health project or government project or agricultural sector project, and it is consist of 5 process group which can be dominated by 10 knowledge areas, and it is a very good practices to enhance the success of the project that can be given delivery to the stakeholders.
Fantastic. See, almost accurate to the T. Okay, good. So who didn't try?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
PMBOK is like project management body of knowledge. It includes standard terminology and guidelines that is applicable for most of the projects in many sectors. Like it includes all the sectors, and its secret is good practice guide to enhance the chance of success. It means that if we have good practice, then we can achieve the success. And it has 5 process groups and 10 knowledge areas.
Very good. So now you all know that these are the questions people will ask either during the interview or when you are employed as a job to deliver a project. People will expect you to know these methodologies and explain what these methodologies are, and that using this methodology, you are delivering your project. Okay? So these are directly linked to your job and performance in the job. Okay? So very good. I think we've done so. So the next two slides, I'll go quick and fast. So the next one is the agile methodology. As the word agile means, ability to move quickly and easily, responding swiftly to changes. That's called agile methodology, a methodology where you have to be agile and move very quickly to deliver the project. For example, the war games I talked about. In the war, there is no time to be slow because opposition is moving, opposition is changing the rules of the game all the time. So you are delivering a war game. Therefore, you will have to be using the agile methodology to deliver the war, okay, to be winning that project. So basically, it's an adaptive planning. So you don't go with fixed ideas. You are continuously adapting your methodology based on the situation, and therefore it's evolutionary development. The project gets developed evolutionary, and it is a continuously improved methodology because the goalposts are shifting, the requirements are shifting, new challenges are coming, and the flexible response to the changes are key to an agile methodology. So if you remember this much, you will be good to go. The next one is a waterfall methodology. As it says, water falls from the top to the bottom, and it doesn't jump. It goes from like a steps. It goes from top to the step one to step two to step three. Therefore, a methodology which is small, structured, clearly known deliverables, which has got a linear sequential phase, and it depends on completion of the previous one. That's the waterfall methodology. If the water has not reached the top step, the water will not reach the bottom step. Because on the top step, it'll go to the middle steps and then it'll go to the bottom steps. So it's linear, sequential, and it depends on completion of the previous part of the project so that the next part of the project can be taken. And therefore, it is a flow of progress in one direction. And the direction here is from left to right, from top to bottom. Okay. And therefore, the progress is from the conception to initiation. Then after initiating the project, you analyze the project, then you design the project, how to deliver. After you construct the project, then you test whether the construction has been done as per requirement, then you deploy the solution, and then you keep maintaining. So it's a step-by-step process. That's the waterfall. Okay. So that takes us to another part of today's knowledge. Because we talked about in the PMBOK, it's a set of standard terminology. So therefore, we need to learn the terminologies. Okay, so there are A to Z of terminologies in project management. You need to learn the meaning of each of them. Most of them are simple common English, but some of them could be difficult. So that's what I'm introducing certain terminology. So let's learn certain terminology, and the details of the terminology you can get from the wiki. Okay, glossary of project management. If you do glossary of project management wiki, you will see all the terminologies are there. So let's see some of these ones. One of the things that we keep talking in the project management, when two project managers speak, boss and subordinate speak, towards the end, we talk to benefit realization. Now, benefit realization means that I have delivered the project. Is the project in the stage of realizing the benefit? So benefit realization means the project manager will have to demonstrate that the project is ready to the extent the benefits could be realized now. Okay, so that is benefit realization. The change control is another terminology where we say changes are inevitable in life and changes are inevitable in any project. How do I control the change that it does not completely derail my project but with a controlled approach, I can manage those changes. So that is called change control. Critical path method, you as an engineer must have learned SPART and CPM. If not, then critical path method is a mathematical model in which you articulate a path of the task's completion which delivers the final project. And the path which is critical is the path which, if anything goes wrong, the whole project will go wrong. And that is why that path is called the critical path. It's normally always the longest path of various tasks stitched together in which the project is delivered. And that is the critical path, because anything goes wrong in that path or in the task path, the project will get impacted. Similarly, dependency is another terminology. Dependency means tasks are dependent with each other. For example, if I don't buy the groceries, I'll not be able to start baking the cake. So baking the cake is depending on the task called going for shopping for groceries. So these dependencies are very important in project management terminology. These are called task dependencies. Earned value management is a management of the costs where you pay the bills of your contractor based on how much they've earned, how much value they delivered, because progressively you have to pay. So this is called progress payment. But how do you pay in a project which takes probably 5 years to deliver, $5 million project? But contractors will keep coming and saying, sir, give me some money. So you give money based on progress. And the technique is called earned value. How much is earned by delivering what value is the earned value. The float is basically how much of time you have available to delay a project without delaying the overall project. So there are tasks within the project. The float means how much you can float around. That means how much you can delay the task without delaying the entire project. So that is called a float. A Gantt chart is a visual depiction of some bar charts which shows the start of a task, end of a task, and the duration of the task. And the Gantt chart shows the bar chart where the tasks are dependent on each other or connected to each other. Okay. The next one is scope creep. That means it is the scope which was given to initially as a project manager. Now it is creeping to increase. And if it increases, your life is becoming difficult because you need to deliver extra scope now. And therefore, scope creep is a negative term. And you need to actually stop scope creep to be able to deliver a project well. So if you can stop scope creeping to increase, that means you are actually doing well in terms of managing your project and keeping the scope to the original approved scope and not allowing it to creep. The last one I want to introduce is work breakdown structure. It is another terminology that we use, WBS, we call it in short. The WBS, or the work breakdown structure, is nothing but breaking the project into smaller tasks and then breaking those smaller tasks into further smaller tasks, breaking them into further smaller tasks, and then you deliver the last level of task and build that to the total project. What we call those breakdown is in the 3 levels. The first level project is broken down into phases. So work breakdown first is phasing of the work. So breaking the work into say 2, 3, 4, or 5 phases is the first breakdown. Then breaking down each phase into what we call is a work package. So there is a package of work called electrical package, civil package, plumbing package, or gardening package, or landscaping package. So you can break those into packages of work. And then those package can be further broken up. In the package called landscaping, you can say there's a grass is part of the landscaping. You can say some flower beds is part of landscaping. So those are the final tasks. So when you break the project into these tasks, it's easier for you to cost, easier to schedule, easier to manage and assign people. So therefore, these are some of the glossary of terminology that he used. There are dozens and hundreds of these glossaries of terminology. All these put together becomes a body of knowledge. So that is the standard terminology and guidelines, which is the body of knowledge, which we use as a methodology for PMBOK. Okay. Now I don't want you to learn everything because it's open book. Don't expect you to remember all these, but you should know where it is available, and that is why I've given you this. It's a quick wiki glossary of project management. So if there's a question, you can go and then you can see, okay, this is what I meant. But if you learn more of these ones, you can use this in your project. Now, the last part of today's session is to know that project has got documentation. You have to have documents to deliver projects. So project documentations are the records of the key project details that are required to evaluate and implement the project successfully. So these are documents to evaluate and implement, and documents will have details of the project. And these will include all the documents that will be created and updated throughout the project's life cycle, from the beginning till the end. All the documents, okay? And some of the examples are feasibility study report, project charter, or what is a project plan. Now, project charter and project plan, we will practice to write in the next Saturday. Project charter and project plan, and that will be a fantastic skill. If you can go to an interview and say that I have written many project plans, and if you can convince them, then the job is yours. Anyone who has not gone for a course like this will not be able to write a project plan. So therefore, next week we are going to do, but today, our job or this week task is the first project document, which is a feasibility study report. Now, the feasibility study report is basically a report where you study whether the project that you have conceived or you thought, whether it's feasible to be delivered or not. Okay. So first thing you should learn how to create a feasibility report, and that is created through what I've written here in a summary. So a feasibility study is basically something, a report which helps to proceed or not to proceed with the project. It helps to evaluate the project, and to write a feasibility study, you need to do certain things which are highlighted in blue. That means you should consider whether the project is aligned to the organization's mission, vision, strategy, goals, and objective. For example, my organization is in pharmaceutical, but I'm trying to take projects on rural development. It's a misaligned project. So you should say it is not feasible for my company called Roche Pharmaceutical or Ranbaxy Pharmaceutical to do a project on rural development. Okay, alignment is important. And the second one is return on investment or payback period of investment as per se is feasibility. For example, if a project requires $1 million and we don't have that kind of money to invest, obviously it's not feasible to take up the project. Now, suppose we have $1 million, but we see that the return on the investment, I'm putting $1 million to get maybe 1.2 million back at some point of time, because that's a commercial, all projects have got a commercial requirement. For example, I'm building a highway. I'm building a highway Mumbai to Pune. Okay, so I'm spending 500 crores there. But in next 20 years through the toll, I will be not only getting back the 500 crores, but I'll make a profit. So if there is a return on investment, the project is feasible. But if you say that I will, in next 100 years also, I will not get 500 crores back, then probably you will see the project is not feasible. And that's why we do what is called the payback period. Is the project investment paid back in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, or 50 years? Based on these parameters, you will be doing the feasibility study and write the report. The another way you do a feasibility study is by benefit realization. That means what kind of benefit the project investment will bring. Will it only bring profits, or it will benefit some people, or it will benefit the planet Earth? That is called triple bottom line approach. The benefit realization is a triple bottom line: profit, people, and planet. Don't kill the planet to get some profit today. Don't kill the people to get some profit. Take care of people, planet, and then earn profit. It's a healthy, sustainable profit model, a benefit realization model. Now, we also know risk and reward, because all project has got risk, but we take those risks because there are rewards. Okay, so you should be able to write a risk and reward section in the feasibility report that these are the risks, but these are the rewards. And that is why I think it's a feasible project to take and get funding. The other way of looking at a feasibility is the financial feasibility. That means financially this is feasible. And the last one is operational capability. So suppose your department, agriculture and engineering, has given you, say, 1 lakh rupees to do a website. Okay, all the boxes are ticked. It's aligned with the requirement of the department. The return on investment is good. You spend 1 lakh, but the benefit is much more than a lakh. Okay, there are a little bit of risk, but the reward is much more. It will bring in a lot of traffic, so the website is worth. Financially also it is feasible, because I can spend 1 lakh, I have 1 lakh, and I can get the money back. But I don't have the operational capability, because I am a student in agriculture engineering. I do not know how to do a website design. So I'm not capable to operationally deliver this project. So in that case, after ticking all the boxes also, it will not be a feasible project for you. It may be a feasible project for someone else, but not for you. Okay. So therefore, when you write the feasibility study today, we are going to do that today of a project which Professor Gaurav and Professor Praveen will be giving you now. I want you to use this slide and try and work in a group, small group or just one big group, and try and write a feasibility study report, because that is a skill you will be required to be a project manager. Okay. Now, this part, because we don't have much time, I am not going into much, but normally when you do the feasibility report, you do a report based on external and internal analysis. The external analysis means basically what the external world is looking like. So one of the tool we use is Pestle model. Anyone knows about Pestle model? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. So Pestle model is P for political, E for economical, S for social, T for technological, L for legal, and E for environmental. So you do an external study to see the political situation, economic situation, social situation, technological situation, legal situation, and the environmental situation, which can impact your project. And based on that, you analyze whether this project is going to be beneficial or not. For example, you have heard a lot of students have gone to Ukraine to study medicine, and now they're all back, and there's no way they can go back, and they will miss a year or whatever it is, or much more. Because when they started this project called Study Medicine Abroad, they did not consider the PESTEL model, which is a political or the social situation in that part of the world which could lead them to a war. And therefore, if they have done the situation, there was political unrest between Ukraine and Russia, and it didn't come now, it's going on for the last 6 years. So they would have not taken the project and said, it's not feasible for me to go and study medicine in Ukraine because the political unrest and political situation is not good. So similarly, in your project, you will be applying a PESTEL model. Now, what is POTUS 5 Forces? It's an industry-based view, the industry in which you're going to do the project. Like Professor Gaurav and Praveen will be giving you a project now where you will be creating a project plan in the agriculture area. But is the industry in favor? So how do you evaluate the industry? Because if the industry is not in favor, that project will be not meeting with success, no matter how much you put in efforts. So how do you do the industry view? The industry view, Porter talks about 5 forces, and the 5 forces are the forces of the buyer, forces of the supplier, forces of your competitors, forces or the threats of substitution, and the threats of new entrants. So I will explain that in details later if time permits, but it doesn't matter if this part you don't know fully, but this part is most important. You will be able to write a feasibility study based on these 4, and that will be a very good competency. Similarly, internal analysis is done through SWOT analysis. You all know SWOT: strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So your strength, your company's weakness, your company's opportunities, and your company's threat is called an internal analysis. That do I have strength to deliver this project? And a resource-based view is the resources that I have. Are they valuable resources? VRIO, are they valuable? Are they rare resources? Are they not immutable? I stands for immutability, and are they, O stands for organization, or sometimes we call VRIS, which is sustainable. So because the time is not there much, I want you to ignore this part, but just to understand, if you have time to see that these are some of the tools that you can use for analysis of the environment, external and internal, to see the project is viable or not. Okay, so let's forget about this part, but let's understand the alignment with my organization and the project that I'm going to take. Is the return on investment going to be healthy? Whether we can get the benefit realization, whether we can get the risk and reward articulated, financial feasibility and operation feasibility. Now, before we go to a little bit of assessment or exam, I want to summarize what we have learned today. What we have learned today is what is a project. Everyone knows what is a project? What
Yes,
is a
sir.
project?
project?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what?
Something.
Yeah, tell me, what is a project?
Which has both
beginning and ending.
ending.
Correct. Any task which has got a beginning and an end is a project. Very good. What are the functions of a project manager?
The 10.
Correct. The 10 functions of the project manager: managing cost, managing scope, managing time. Those are the 10 functions. We learned different methodologies to deliver
Yes.
And what is the most important methodology that we'll be following?
PMBOK.
Yeah, what is the full form of PMBOK?
Project management, body of knowledge.
Body of knowledge.
Fantastic. And then we know that the project will have to be delivered through certain documents. So I have to prepare those documents, update them, use the documents to evaluate, use those documents to run my project. So we learned about the project documentations. 3 very critical documents. One is the feasibility report, whether the project can be feasible to at all take up. And the other 2 is a project charter and a project plan, which we'll see next week in details. So that's what we have learned today. So before we do the little quiz and the assessment, can you please tell me whether this was useful or valuable in your skill development today?
So I think
Yes.
it's quite useful, sir, because we are looking at a project from a wholesome, different approach that we haven't seen in that detail previously. So, yes, sir, it's definitely great.
Okay. Yeah, I want to hear one sentence from everyone, because that's a feedback based on which I'll either change, improve, or continue to do what we are doing.
The 10 points of the project manager, project managing. So that the 10 points is the most, I think, the most good one can manage the project in a different way and more efficient way. What I can say. The more efficient way was not there earlier, so what we used to do just something, right? But in now, after attending this, so I can do this in more efficient way and managing all the point in our mind.
Very good. Yes, and that's exactly right. Now you can manage with this 10 points any project and any part of the world. Okay. Okay, I want to hear from others.
Sir, it was a really nice session. And the moment when you said to write on the 10 tasks, write down the tasks which we did from the 10 tasks, 10 methodologies, I realized that there are so many areas to improve as well. And uh, it made me to look after the things in practical manner.
Very good. Okay. Who is next?
Yes, sir. So, like as everyone has mentioned, like the major thing is that we somewhere or another has like basically covered a lot of points whenever we do a project or functions of product manager. But inevitably we leave some points. But now at least we can think of what we are leaving and we can think more about it, so we can cover all the points that are required.
Good. Yogesh, you joined late, looks like, but thanks for contributing. Yeah. Okay. Who wants to go next?
So these particular section actually taught a complete holistic view of looking into a particular project, and like it's more of a structured plan to how to execute a project and to see the success rate of whatever project will be implementing in future. That's it.
Okay, good. What about Shreya?
Sir, it was me who
Sorry,
spoke it.
that was Shreya. Sorry, Padma.
Yes, so like before these functions, we used to do a task, but we without knowing the what are the functions we are actually applying, and what are the functions are the our strengths which we can do better, and the points which are we in which we are weak that we can improve a lot in the factors.
Right. Okay, who is left?
Yes, sir. It was amazing session, and it gave the overall idea how to handle a project and how to manage the things in project in a structured way.
Okay, good. I'm happy for that. And anyone else is left? Tarun, did you speak? Tarun started probably.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so we covered everyone. So good, then that means it's giving me feedback. So when I discuss with Gaurav and Professor Praveen, so we know that we will continue to deliver the next lectures from next Saturday exactly the same way. So now just a quick test for your competency. And as I told you, this is not a normal test. There is no pass or fail. Uh, we just try to assess whether you have learned something today. If you're not learned, I will again visit after your attempt and again give you the gap areas, and then you can attempt again till you get all the questions right. We continue to develop your skills. So really speaking, it's a very different strategy where 100% of the participant gets skills trained, and you get multiple opportunities to sit for the knowledge test and then later the practical tests. So Gaurav, leave that to you, and Praveen, I leave that to you. Can you administer the knowledge test, please? And after that, then you can brief the practical test, uh, the case study that you have got, and then I will come back after they have attempted.
All right. So I have posted one form in the general channel. You can take a look at the general channel. Probably you can find the form over there in the chat.
And it's open book, so you can refer to your notes.
I'll also post here if you are not able to see it.
I can post it here. Yeah, these are the questions.
Are you able to access the link?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah, just
The three
answer this
questions are
question.
there, na?
Sorry?
Yeah, these
Three questions are there, na?
Yes, those are that one. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think you have around 10 minutes to fill this form. Okay.
I think 5 minutes should be good because it's very simple. 5 to 7 minutes, let's give them.
7 minutes enough. Okay, so maybe by 11:25 would be better.
Yeah, I'll just switch off my camera, but I'm listening. Okay. Are we doing okay on time? Yeah, let us know when you're finished. Whoever is finished, just raise your hand so that we know how many of you are finished.
Okay, so whoever has finished, have you already submitted the form?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good, everyone is done except Deepak. Deepak, you need some more time?
I got 6 responses now. So try to finish.
Sir, I submitted.
Okay, good. So let's review the question answers together. Okay, anyone who thinks you have not done well, you can submit a second attempt after we go the response together. So what are the 10 functions? If you have been able to write all 10, that means you are good in the first attempt. If not, just put a second attempt, adding whichever one you haven't. And if there is any gap, ask me questions now. Okay, so we got this right. Now the second question was about project management methodologies and explaining. I think we touched about 3: PMBOK, Agile, and Waterfall. If you have mentioned all 3, that means you have at least knowledge about 3 methodologies. And if you have written something about each methodology, 1 or 2 sentences, you're good. If not,
Sir,
yeah.
actually, they asked us to explain about only one or two methodology.
The question says, write down 3 project methodology that are commonly used. Explain each in 1 or 2 sentences. Am I right?
I got it wrong.
Yeah, no worries. So you can submit it later also. You don't need to submit right now. After the class also you can submit. And after the class, you will be having this in front of you. So study and understand and then respond. Okay. Now the next question was about scope creep, work breakdown structure and benefit. Scope creep is basically scope increase is called scope creep. Work breakdown structure is basically breaking the project into different stages and tasks. And benefit realization is basically a stage of the project in which the benefit can be realized or benefit can be delivered. Till that time, the project is work in progress. Only when the project is ready to deliver the benefits for which it was intended are the benefit realization. Okay. If you have any issues, just go through this glossary of project management in Wikipedia. You will be able to get more, and then you can study more and deliver more. Okay, so you will have time till next Saturday. Sorry, not next Saturday is. I think you will have time, maybe about 24 to 48 hours to resubmit. Professor Gaurav and Praveen, will it be okay for 24 hours or 48 hours for you to tell them that they are competent or not?
I think 48 hours is okay. Within 48 hours, we'll share them the final marks and all.
Okay. Okay, good. So you have time 48 hours. And now that it is done, the next part, this is called the knowledge assessment. The next part is basically the performance assessment. In the performance assessment, you will be writing a feasibility report for a project. Now, I already explained, you are basically creating a business case in support of your project. So if you are a startup, you go to a sponsor by saying, this is my proposal, this is my business case, give me some money, be my sponsor, okay? So you prepare a feasibility report. If you are working in an organization and the organization has given you a project in the thought concept stage, you will create a feasibility report which will help either to say the project is feasible to be undertaken or it is not feasible. Okay, so there's a first competency of a project manager to be able to perform accurately. And I've given you, it is based on alignment, return, benefit, risk, reward, financial, and operational capabilities. With this, I give the floor to professors who will explain to you what project is. And the good news is, this project we are going to continue throughout the course. So this project, today you will write feasibility, next week you will write project plan, third week we'll do something else. So the same project remains throughout the course. So over to Professor Gaurav and Praveen.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mukherjee. Can you please unshare your screen so that I can share?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So let me share my screen. So you can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so as Dr. Mukherjee has already told you, like I'll be discussing you about aquaponics system, and I'll discuss you about like how these aquaponic systems can be installed, can be used for urban farming, and especially the vertical aquaponics systems. So I'll describe you in details like what is this aquaponics, how it works, its history, and in general all the ideas and all. So you have to create a business case to support your proposition for this business this project feasibility report. Okay, so let's start with it. So do you guys have any idea what is aquaponics? Anyone of you? What is an aquaponics system?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes.
Like it is not performed on the farm or the field. Artificial setup is created where the plants are grown under the water, where nutrients is also supplied. Like everything is done artificially, and nutrients are sprinkled, I guess.
Okay, so you are partially right. Like, see, the system that you have discussed, it's a hydroponic system. Okay, so in aquaponics, we have aquaculture species also involved in it. Okay, so see, the aquaponics, it's like a mixture of aquaculture and hydroponics. Okay, the system that you have just said, it's about the hydroponic system. You're perfectly right about it. It's a type of hydroponic systems where we try to grow different kind of plants in the water rather than using it in the field with the soil. It's a soilless agriculture systems where we introduce the nutrient very specific for that particular plant to grow that particular plant or particular species. I think some echo is happening. So can you please mute your system, everyone? Okay. So but in case of aquaculture pond, where we normally go for different kind of aquaculture species, like it can be fish, it can be mollusks, can be sculls, it can be anything. Okay, so when we go for this aquaculture of aquaculture systems and as well as the hydroponic systems, and we do it hybridly, we call it aquaponic system. It's as you can see, it's a sustainable food production systems which combines these two systems in a symbiotic environment. Okay. So why we need to go for this aquaponic systems? Like in general, the aquaculture, it discharge a lot of unwanted pollutants. Say I'm giving an example. Okay, so in case suppose we are going for tilapia production and all. So when we go for tilapia production, we try to give them some amount of food. So what happens? Most of the food that we are actually providing our tilapia or whatever the culture species that we are growing, they normally do not consume all. Even they consume like hardly 30 to 40% of those feeds. So most of those feeds are being uneaten, and they gradually sedimented on the bottom of those tanks. Along with that, those fishes, they generate the excreta, and those excreta or the wastes, those are also getting sedimented in the bottom of the tank, or sometimes if you're providing ample amount of aeration around, it will be in suspended form as well. Those are actually pollutant in terms of because those are not at all useful for those culture species, and along with that, it can be harmful for them rather because of the different kind of nitrogen based the nutrients those we normally provide them. Those nitrogen species are actually helping the creating the ammonia there in the aquaculture tank or the aquaculture pond. Those ammonia are very much harmful because see, ammonia, it can be of ammonium form, it can be of free ammonia form, but both are equally harmful. Especially the free ammonia is very much harmful. If somehow the pH goes beyond 7, say like 8 or 9, there is a chances of having free ammonia, which is very, very much harmful for your aquatic species. So what we need to do, we need to go for very regular freshwater exchange in general when we go for the conventional aquaculture tank. So that cost us a lot of money, lot of freshwater demand, and lot of effort as well. Parallelly, the hydroponic systems, we normally use the very specific type of nutrient for growing that particular type of plant, which cost us some fertilizers. So though the commercial fertilizers that we use are like normal good for those plants, but they are expensive. And we have to change this nutrient that we are supplying. It has to be changed periodically with very minimal amount of retention time. it has a lot of other effects, like, when you cannot just go for recirculating hydroponic system sometimes, because it comes with a lot of additional disadvantages. Like, it can come with a lot of solid concentration, it can come with a lot of obnoxious particles which you do not need it to be recycled, and the recirculation plant in itself will require a huge amount of space to install. Then people, they come up with the idea of having aquaponic systems. So what is the aquaponic systems? What they are doing, whatever the nutrient, whatever the pollutant that is left behind in aquaculture tank is supplied to the hydroponic systems, because generally they are nitrogen species. All the pollutants, those are available in aquaculture tank, these are actually nitrogen species, mostly in the ammoniacal form. So if we somehow convert it to the nitrate or nitrite, and specifically this nitrate form of nitrogen is very much helpful for the plant to grow. So what is happening here, we are taking the wastewater from the aquaculture tank, we are providing it to the hydroponic systems. So our hydroponic system doesn't need any additional source of fertilizers, additional source of nutrient. They are just simply harnessing the nutrient from the aquaculture wastewater. They grow by themselves, by they convert this wastewater, all the pollutants into their biomass, and the water which is coming out of the hydroponic systems is actually clean now. It's actually purified now. That water we are supplying to the aquaculture tank. So by this means we are growing a symbiotic like the culturing of aquaculture species as well as the hydroponic crop species and all. So this is called the aquaponic system. Okay, so it has advantages of which normally the amount of wastewater that it requires in general, it only requires 10% of that water. So it can grow 30% of more food. These are the number are very specific. Do not go memorize those. It's just to give you a glimpse of how the percentage of increment that you can observe by means of yield, by means of consumption of water, etc., etc. Okay. So no soil is required for this kind of hydroponics plants. You can go for year-round production of your culture species, of your culture crop. So you do not have to use any kind of pesticides. It's a fast growing and very high quality vegetables that you can have. You can go for closed systems, no additional discharge of streams, lakes, and municipal waste systems. What is the additional benefit of it? Like, if you go for this further discharging of your wastewater, you have to abide by the law and regulations by your local municipality or local regulatory bodies. Like in Indian context, it's like Central Pollution Control Board, CPCB. So they have very strict norms and regulations which you have to maintain before you're dumping your wastewater into a surface water bodies. So in order to do that, you have to design a proper treatment systems and all. It will cost a lot. So what is let me give you a very brief introduction about the history of aquaponic systems. The history of aquaponic system, if you go in even like almost 1000 AD, like thousands Anno Domini, like you see these Aztec civilizations, they use these chinampas. These chinampas are considered as one of the very earliest form of aquaponic systems, where they have developed some artificial island, the network of artificial island, where they're cultivating the crops and all. So the fish which were dwelling in the wastewater in the lake or in the river bodies, that wastewater is actually supplying the nutrient available for the cultivated crops there. So these early chinampa systems are considered as one of the earliest example of this kind of aquaponic systems. Recently, North Carolina State University's Professor Dr. McMurtry is considered as one of the pioneer in aquaponic systems. Though in 1969, John and Nancy Todd and William McLerney, they founded this new Alchemy Institute, and they actually developed this idea called ARC, one type of bioshelter. In the ARC system, they have mentioned that you can have you can accommodate year-round needs for a family of 4 in this kind of specific structure, which is solar powered, self-sufficient, and like it can have the year-round production of the crop and vegetables and the fishes required for the supply needs of a family of 4. Then this structure is further modified, and first large-scale commercial aquaponic systems were installed in Amherst in 1980s, and it's still in operation today. And in 1990s, later on, this closed aquaponic system that we normally use nowadays. So it is actually been developed by Tom and Paola Sperano in this specific in terms of bioponics concept. And they are from the Missouri, and they grow herbs and vegetables along with the fishes along with the fish culture. So as you already know, so let me give you a very broad perspective of how aquaponics works again. First of all, the fishes are fed with the fish meal. All the unutilized fish feed and the excreta are somehow we treat it in the sedimentation tanks, so to get rid of all the suspended solids and the solid particles. Then we pump it to the biofilter where we use the nitrifying bacteria. Those nitrifying organisms, nitrifying bacteria, what they do, they convert the ammoniacal nitrogen to nitrate or nitrite. So once they convert it to the nitrate and nitrate, so this nitrate are now supplied to the grow bed or in the hydroponic systems. This nitrate are very much essential for the this aquaponic, the hydroponic plants or the crops to grow there. So they utilize it, and then whatever after they utilize it, then the water is recycled back to the fish tank. So now this way we have a closed aquaponic systems which can work, which can help you with different benefits and a lot of benefits and all. The fishes that we normally target in aquaponics, tilapia, trout, catfish, bass, goldfish, koi, paku, because of their capabilities to grow in a little bit of the harsh situations as well. Like sometimes what happened, the fishes in general, most of the aquatic species, they are very much susceptible to minor environmental changes, but this kind of fishes are not. So even if something happens, something weird happens, and you somehow cannot balance the proper dissolved oxygen, so these fishes will not die in a minute. They will at least sustain for an hour or so that you can get back to your plant, and you can start the system again. Because of power failure, you can start the power again, so to maintain the system. Different kind of vegetables that we normally target, most of them are leafy vegetables like say basils, mint, parsley, spinach, etc. We go for fruit vegetables also like okra, eggplant, peas, peppers, etc. We root vegetables like beet, carrots are also grown. Flowers like broccoli, cauliflowers, edible flowers, ornamental flowers are also nowadays been grown in aquaponic systems in all over the world. Types of aquaponics, if I say, like one is like water based and another is specifically substrate based or open to waste systems. In case of water based systems, we normally have it recirculating one, that the standard one that we were showing. I was showing just in the last slide. And the open to drain system is the one when after the treatment is done in the the hydroponic system, we just let the water go in the surface water bodies, because we know the nutrients are already been absorbed by the plants, and the water is now pollutant free. We go for, there are different terms we normally use, the deep water culture systems, where this floating rafts will be providing, which normally made up of thermocols and on. So there will be having specific holes where we can put the plant on it, and there will be like specific type of structures you can develop, and those raft can be easily floating over the that water body or the tank that you are having. So for year-round production, you can just simply pass on one raft. Once it is full grown, the species is full grown, you just take it out, you go for another raft. So you can have like continuous production of vegetables from your systems in this kind of closed deep water culture systems. There are systems like nutrient film techniques where we simply have simple pipes on it. So these pipes, we put there were like specific holes, and there will like continuous flow of water in it, and those water actually comes with those like with the wastewater coming from that aquaculture tank. So, and there will be like plants installed in it. So those plants, their root system will suck the water from it, from this nutrient film technique systems, and they will utilize the nutrient from it. There were drip irrigation systems we normally use sometimes, like say in case of this specific case, it is a tomato, you can see, where the exact amount of water that is needed for the system, we are providing. All the rest of it is like culture. So in this kind of drip irrigation systems, we can utilize more amount of water, we can have more amount of yield, like how to say, like we can increase the yield like anything, because we are supplying the water which is exactly the amount of water that is needed for the that particular specific type of vegetable to grow. Okay. This one, I already mentioned, this is the infographics of how it looks like, the closed system and the open to drain system. See, after the treatment is done in the hydroponic system, the water is allowed to throw away in the either to the surface water body, either to for the other irrigation purpose or any other purpose you can use it. So this is called the open to drain systems. Okay. The vertical farming, as you know, it's a future concept of agriculture. We call it nowadays because it comes with a very higher productivity in a smaller area. It has a very shorter growing time because you're supplying the nutrients, that is exactly the amount of nutrients available for the plant to grow in the optimum way. The water uses is much less. The fresh products which are grown, it's much closer to its consumption place. Like we normally do it in the urban areas where most of the cities and all urban people like the cities and all, they consume it from its production site itself. It improves the food taste because we go for the genetically modified one, which has the maximum how to say market. We grow it on that particular species only. We just don't go for any wild species. It reduces the carbon footprint of a building by filtering the pollutants out of the air as well. Like it consumes a lot of carbon dioxide and it helps increasing the quality of the air in the surrounding ecosystems. So this comes with a lot of benefits, like this vertical farming and as well as the aquaculture systems. Now, I'm proposing you to prepare a project feasibility report. And so, like suppose I am the sponsor or the funding agency. Okay, so you will write me a proposal or a project feasibility study report for this vertical aquaponics system. So to impress me, so that I'll fund you for your project, for your particular idea. So as Dr. Mukherjee has already mentioned about the basis of your report, it should be based on the alignment, return, benefit realization, risk and reward, financial feasibility, and operational capabilities of your project idea and all. Okay. So I'm expecting, like, see, now it's almost 10 minutes to 12. So maybe half an hour. Is it okay, Professor Mukherjee?
Yeah, depending on how much they need help, I think we will start the process and they can submit it in next 48 hours. I'll help them writing the feasibility report. The idea is to understand how. Now, is the template being shared with them?
Yes, it is. It is already there in the general. If they go to the general, I think. Let me show you.
Okay, can everyone download the template? Right, and maybe I'll share the screen.
It's in class materials.
Yes.
Right. So can everyone see my screen where I said project feasibility report, the template?
Yes, we can see it, Professor. Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Now, what is the competency? Now, remember, this is different from your higher education. Here, we are not looking for how accurately you can write a feasibility report or whether the numbers or the timelines are accurate or not. Here, the competency is that do you know what is a feasibility report? Do you have a template like this? Do you know what to write in each section on the template? Do you know how the report is professionally created by the version control, description, authors? Then the authorization signatures are there. These are all part of a professional template in any organization. And therefore, if you could create a structure around this, then you are competent in writing one of the project documentation. Okay, so I don't expect you to be perfect but I expect you to show that you know what to write in executive summary, what to write in problem statement, what to write in business requirements. In the assessment, we talked about alignment with the business objectives, alignment with the strategies and goals, alignment with some amount of cost which you think will be required for you to deliver an aquaponic urban project like this. Okay, so someone will write 10 lakhs and someone will like 100 lakhs. Doesn't matter. The idea is that you know why these fields are there, and reasonably it should match with a common sense approach. So that is the assessment task. So I want to keep it simple, but the focus is to understand what is a feasibility report, what are the sections of it, and can I write a feasibility report based on a real project like what Professor Gaurav has given us. Is this clear? And I want to hear some yeses, and then I will talk later a little bit more.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, how you want to work? You want to work individually? You want to work in a team? You want to work in one big group with all of you, or small teams of 2 or 3? What is convenient for you?
So
I think
if it in one big group, we'll have a lot of scope for discussion and like, we can share an idea.
I'm open to anything. So is that the consensus? Everyone feels one big group?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
yes, sir.
Okay, good. So let's do that. Once you submit the feasibility report, Professor Gaurav and Professor Praveen will be seeing that you understood the template and you could write a feasibility report in this template. So that is the assessment, okay? And based on that, they will say you're competent, you're not competent. If you're not competent, next class at the beginning or somewhere in the middle, we can go through it based on your difficulties and you can resubmit. Is that clear?
Sure. Sir.
Okay. So let's go through the 2 things. One is this template. Another is the what is that? The feasibility report slide, the slide that I have shared with you. Okay, anyone wants to discuss how you will approach writing this report? And this is the real life. In real life, you are working in an organization. The organization has told you create a report, and you probably work for a consultant, agricultural expert consulting firm, and you're writing a feasibility report to go to a client who will give you funds based on what you have written. So with this concept, tell me, how do we start, and how will you discuss within yourselves, and how you finally document and submit?
Sir, are you asking only about the feasibility report part, or?
Correct. Correct.
Uh, Sir, once we talk about the alignment thing, it would be easy for us to catch the eye of an investor because we are from the Department of Agriculture and Food Engineering, and as this is our core subject, we may show them that we have a greater knowledge on these subjects. And when it comes to returns on investment and benefit realization, we can combine the both. And uh, basically, as we have so many advantages like water is getting saved, and as we are providing the required amount of nutrients, the investment on the nutrients or water sources would be less and the returns would be higher because exact nutrients are given to the plants, which helps in increasing the production. And financial feasibility, okay, let me leave the financial feasibility part now, but if I talk about operational capabilities, we can convince the investor saying that we have done these kind of things in our laboratories and all, and as we have sufficient knowledge on these particular topics, we can we have the operational capabilities within us.
Good, very good attempt. I think excellent. You got a good idea now how to write a feasibility report. So let's together write. So where will you start with? Will you start with the executive summary? Do you start the problem statement, or somewhere in between? Where will you start writing the report?
So it would be better if we start with problem statement.
Problem statement, yes.
Fantastic. That is the answer I wanted. Executive summary you will always write at the end.
Yes.
Okay, and can all of you come on camera, please? Yeah, beautiful. So you're right. You will start with a problem statement. Remember, for any pitch or any project, you are actually solving a problem. So based on the PowerPoint which has been shared by Professor Gaurav, what do you think? What is the problem that you're going to solve? What are the problems facing by the industry that you want to solve?
Issues with the quality and the quantity of the food requirement.
Okay. Any other way? And we are just discussing, okay? There's no right or wrong answer. It's your feasibility report. But I'm just exploring, if anyone else perceives a problem differently for which you need a project like this?
Sir, actually, like in the coming near future, we know that there is actually a scarcity of land. So that's the reason people are shifting to like, aquaponics. So that is also one thing which they can use.
Good. So we already got two problems. Anyone else thinks any other problem is there?
Yes, sir. So basically, the population is increasing at a very explosive way. So we need a sustainable method so that we can grow good quality food.
Terrific. So we got three problems. Fourth one. There's a word there called urban farming and vertical aquaponics. Any clues there? Why urban? Is there any problem or any solution you see there?
Sir, it is like, according to my view, I think because the space is a matter, because urban as a population is increasing, space is very confined and the people can actually grow it in a like very like somewhere a free space if they're having in their homes itself. So that may be the thing.
Very good. Now, in real life, when you are writing this, you will not do it alone like an exam. You will do it in consultation and in collaboration. So I want to introduce now that we as a team is now engaging the experts and taking some input. So I will request Professor Gaurav and Professor Praveen to help us in terms of understanding that what other problems are faced in the industry today, and can they help us with some more inputs. So we as a project team going to the experts. So over to you, Professor Gaurav. Can you tell us what are the problems and why this project will be beneficial?
Yes. First of all, I would like to request all of you to give me idea, or I'm providing you some problems that I am facing right now. Okay, as a say like as a industrialist, or as a like urban the the citizens of an urban village or urban city. So what I'm asking you, like suppose first of all I'm having food crisis, okay? So because of different warlike situation that recently happening, so I cannot just rely on having food from having exporting importing food from other countries or other places where they have ample amount of it. So I need to be my self-sufficient. So that's the first problem I want to introduce you. Like, what is your point of view with that? Like, how you can make me self-sufficient urban population, or you can have a self-sufficient urban the citizens of an urban village or urban city, whatever you say. So okay, so that's the first problem that I'm facing right now. So how will you what are the sort of the solutions that you have in your mind to make me self-sufficient in terms of food or the food demand or the nutrient demand for us? The second thing that I'm facing is the water and energy nexus. Okay, so see, suppose I'm from a city like Bangalore, where there is no groundwater available at this moment right now. Like you have to deep down like up to 1,000 feet below the ground, so to get some water. So I have to rely on the water coming from different other cities or different places, like almost 100 and 120 kilometers away from Bangalore. So what is your solution in that sense? Like how I can save maximum water as possible for my production of the farm, whatever target product that I'm targeting or that I try to achieve. So
just 1 minute. I hope you're recording this like a minutes of the meeting, so that you don't forget what the experts told us. We are the project team, and professor is the expert. So we are noting down so that we will write that in our report, what we heard from experts. So I hope you're noting it down. Yeah, so I think that should be sufficient for the purpose of the feasibility report. So you got some idea, water and network, water is an issue, and you talked about the other issue is that basically self-sufficiency. Okay, so with this, and we will come back to the experts again, but let's try and fill up this problem first. So we got sufficient problem definition now to write the feasibility report. Yeah, team?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now that you got the problem, the next, obviously, you're going to write about the business requirement. Okay, the business requirement, professor has already mentioned. The requirement is to be self-sufficient. Requirement is to have innovative new urban agriculture, so that we don't dig into the rural lands. Even urban vertical skyscrapers can be used for this kind of. So you will write that in the business requirements. Now, also it is important which company you work with. So assume a company who is in this field of solution delivery or in the field of such projects, because only then you will be aligned. So can you think of some company who could be taking up these kind of projects, real companies, and then we'll assume that we work for that company. If not, it could be a foreign company also. Can we then go back to the experts and say, can you suggest any company who are actually in this kind of business of creating urban farming?
First of all, I would like to offer my help as I say, like real estate agent. Okay, so when I'm a real estate agent, so I will definitely try to somehow sell my property to the people, like and try to involve, like to make themselves how to say, convince them, like, see, if you buy my property, you will get to have a proper urban farming and food sustainability and all. So that's the first kind of industry that I think we should think about and we should target Okay, so to whom like we can sell, like to whom you can sell your product, and they will sell the product to the sellers, saying that, say, my village, my apartment that I'm building, the urban village that I'm building, they have self-sufficiency, they have in terms of food availability and for nutrition availability and all. So that is the first type of company I think we should target, the real estates and all.
Okay. So that's good. So experts has given us some hints. So basically, we will say there's so many real estate companies building so many skyscrapers. I think it's a very feasible business proposition. Now we need to now then assume what are their own policies, strategies, which and the goals and objective which is aligned with our project. So can someone articulate the business requirement of a real estate agent that makes my project lucrative for them? Just try. You don't have to be right in the first go. Just try. What will you write in the section? The question is about alignment. That our project aligns with their mission, their strategy, their goals, their objectives.
Sir, I will give a try. Real estate agent, people they want to sell the buildings to the people, like customers, and the customers want the best things at cheaper rate. But that is not always possible. Once we install aquaponics in those buildings, and if we are trying to sell it to customers, saying that we may not give it to you at a cheaper rate, but you can grow things in your home. If you grow it at a larger scale, you can sell it, or else you will be a self-sufficient guy with fresh food at your plate.
Fantastic. Jaya, that is fantastic. So this is 10 out of 10. So this is what you will say, and therefore our project is in alignment with their business. Okay. That is the whole purpose of the section is alignment. So whatever Jaya has mentioned, you will write that, and then you say, therefore, our business or our project is in alignment with their business strategy, vision, or mission. Clear? Okay. Let's go to the next section. We are talking about assessment of options. Now, what are the options? Is aquaponic the only option, or is there any other options that the real estate agent can offer to the potential customers, saying, when you buy our apartment, you might have facilities for growing your own food that will reduce your grocery bills. You will get fresh food, and you will get very hygienically, organically produced foods. And that's an attractive proposition for many housewives and many families. So is there an alternate? If there is any, then we'll write here. If there are no other alternatives, we'll say these are the possible alternatives, but really does not fit in. Okay, so what are the alternates you can write here?
So the rooftop gardening or greenhouses.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
There is a possibility of the rooftop gardening, where the fresh vegetables can be grown in the rooftop.
Fantastic. Yeah. So let's put that as an option. So we have got two options. One is aquaponics, another is the rooftop garden. And then assessment of the option will be rooftop garden will have these benefits and these negatives. And aquaponic will have these benefits and these negatives. And you will write in this section, therefore, after assessing, we think there are more advantage of going for vertical aquaponics rather than a rooftop gardening. Clear?
Yes.
Are you all? Okay, good. So we have written so much. Now, in terms of going for the costing, now we don't have much option, but we have seen in the presentation, the aquaponic needs some fish tank, some system for water pumping. So those are the elements we need to install. Like install only then we can create an aquaponic vertical farm around any skyscraper building. So without going into any great details, because this is not about costing, so we will just go to the experts and say, what do you think a 10-story building or a 15-story building will cost us to put this? So we will go to the experts and ask them this cost.
Okay, so like first of all, I would like you guys to write it down, the exact the components that we need. First, the fish tank. Second, the solid separator. Third, the bioreactor. Fourth, the hydroponic system. Okay, these are the major components. Minor components, the pumping system, conduit lines, and the aeration systems or the compressor, air compressor.
Very good.
Okay. Now,
so
post. Okay, yeah, over to you, Dr. Mukherjee.
Yeah. So keep these, because as I told you, this project will continue to do unit after unit. So when you do costing in details, these details will be of good help. But for the purpose of the feasibility report, we need the total project cost. So can you give us an understanding of the total project cost, please?
Yes. So suppose we are targeting, say like around 1 meter cube of water volume for the aquaculture tank, say like 1,000 liter or 1 meter cube, and with the production capacity of say 100 amount of plant. 100 amount of plants is, it's a very small size, small stage, like 10 square meter area for only a small 10 square meter area aquaponic system that I'm talking about, that I'm discussing about. So it will take around 2 to 2.2 lakhs of Indian rupees. Okay.
Very good. Okay, so write down the cost is between 2 to 2.5 lakh Indian rupees is the total project cost. Now the benefit, obviously for the benefit, we need to see what will be the output cost. What we will produce, should we produce some vegetables, some flowers, and how we will be valuing that per day, per week, per month, per year. So can you give us some idea how much yield will have come and how much that yield will generate income for us?
Yes, exactly. So see, in general, if we go for a specific type of salad material, like we go for celery, we can go for bok choy, we can go for lettuce and etc. So it has at least 10 like season, you can go for like 10 times of production. Okay. So for 10 times production, so you can have like say for like 100 time number of trees that I have mentioned, 100 number, and plus 10 times of production, you can have 1,000, and it may give you like at least say 40 to 50 kg of like in general. So let's say like you will get around 60 to 70,000 rupees from the crop itself in a year.
Very good. In a year. Okay, good. So now that we've got 60 to 70,000 Indian rupees crop for an investment of 2 or 2.5 lakhs, can you work out what is the payback period? That investment, suppose let's take 2.5 lakhs and let's take the cost, sorry, income is 70,000. So how many months or years it will take us to get the investment back?
Sorry, Dr. Mukherjee, I
No,
want
no,
to
no.
involve, add another component here when you go for payback period calculation, because not only crop, but there is another component that is involved here, that is fish, or the production of the aquatic species that we're targeting. So say if it's like tilapia, it can give us a production of up to another 60 to 70,000 Indian rupees.
Okay. So this is for the project team. So you got two inputs now.
Yes.
70,000 from the vegetables and another 60,000 from the fish. So total is 1,30,000 in a year. So that means per month you will get it roughly how much? 10,833. Am I right?
Yes.
So 2,50,000 divided by the 10,33 is about 23 months is the payback period. So that means less than 2 years, you will recover the whole cost. Correct? I'm trying to do your work, but are you following it?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So you will write here payback period will be 23 months, and the return on investment is on an annual basis. It will be like a one-time return itself is 1,30,000, and a one-time first year itself, the return of investment is 1,30,000 divided by 2,50,000 is about 52%. The second year, the whole thing is returned because there's no investment except the maintenance costs. Clear? Because your first year itself, you have taken all the investment. Second year, there's no investment. So there is no return on investment. Everything is a profit. Am I right? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So then you know, if see my cursor, can you see my cursor?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so then you know how to write this part. Okay. Now let us do the pestle analysis, the political, economic, social, technological, legal environment. You will individually write that in the annexure. Annexure 1, you can say pestle analysis. So like political, do you see any problems politically? If yes, you say yes. If no, you say no political interference. Economic, economy of the world, probably, the world economy is looking for these kind of solutions. So positive. Social, is there a social stigma of growing aquaponics and then, getting the benefit? You will write something. So in the annexure, in the pestle analysis, you will write each of them and then say, I therefore say that the analysis says positive, go ahead. Right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Similarly, SWOT analysis, you will see we as a Department of Agriculture Engineering has got strengths, which already Jaya mentioned. We are educated, we have got the PhilSys facility, we've got research team. So therefore, you will write the SWOT there. What could be the potential risk in this kind of project? Anyone can think of any risk that you invested 2.5 lakhs, but the things are not functioning, or if it's functioning, but there's a lot of damp in the walls. you need to paint time to time, or there are insects coming in, creepy crawlies coming in. So what kind of risk you can think of? Yeah. Again, no right or wrong answer. The idea is not to learn about the domain knowledge of how to do aquaponics farming. Here we are learning project management. The project management is to be able to write the risks and reward in the feasibility report. So what will you write in the risks?
So risk maybe there's a similar kind of company who is doing the same thing as our company.
Very good, excellent. Shreya, very good. Risk of new entrants or our competitor. Very good. Anything, any other risk you can think of?
So people may not start accepting our plan because of its initial high investment.
Okay, so can you go for some bank loans or something like that?
Yes.
Okay.
That again, that loan is a risk. That's what I mean.
The loan itself is a risk. And what are the rewards?
Rewards are the thing which we saw. Payback period is very less, and
Correct.
but still
Correct.
people will hesitate to take loans and all once we try to convince
Correct.
them. And
So
means
now,
we should
correct.
educate them. That is the thing to overcome this risk.
Very good. So that's exactly what you said. You will write here that there are risks, but the rewards are also very high because we spend only 2.5 lakhs as a one-time investment, but every year we can get 1,30,000 rupees back. Okay, so that way you are writing the feasibility appropriately. Is there any constraint to this project? Any other constraint?
So one constraint may be that the person who is uh, using that must have a knowledge about those things. If he don't have any prior knowledge, he cannot operate them. So that is a constraint.
Very good. Anyone else?
Maybe for that reason he need to take in more labors just to manage that stuff, extra expenditure that he needs to spend on.
Very good, Deepak. Yeah. So you have identified some constraints and possible solutions. So the solution itself could be a constraint because you have to hire a labor or hire an expert who can run this plant. That will be an additional expense for you. And the last here is rational. Therefore, after doing all these, therefore, what will you write here? Rational for acceptance or rejection. What will be a logic that therefore this project should be accepted or rejected?
Should be accepted, keeping in mind the long-term results that they get, not the short-term maybe.
Okay. So through this process, now what you have done is you have been able to write a feasibility report. Okay, and in the feasibility report, we already covered main things that we are aligned with the business that we are in. That means real estate people are selling their skyscrapers. Return on investment, payback, we have seen the benefits can be realized very quickly. In a year, we can get some benefits from the fish and also from the vegetables. We have seen the type of risks, also the rewards, and therefore it looks like it's financially viable project, will not go in losses. And in terms of operating capability, you have decided that you will hire someone who can operate the plant, and that will cost you money, but at least operationally it is capable. Therefore, it looks like this project is a feasible project so that we can take it to the next stage. Okay, this is the beginning of the project management at the feasibility stage. Remember, about 10 out of 100 project at the feasibility stage is rejected. Sorry, 90 is rejected, only 10 is accepted. So now you have been able to get competency or skill of how to write a feasibility report. And therefore, the first step of being a project manager is completed today. Clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So when do you think you can write and submit it to Professor? How you're going to accept? Are they submitting in the Google or they're emailing to you, or?
We have made an option. We have made an option to upload it in the form here in the Teams.
Okay. So it looks like there will be only one group project. One person will upload and others will collaboratively work and complete this task.
So I'll just show what they can do here. I'll try to share my screen. So there is one channel, separate channel, and which is also named as Blue or One. So you can go here, go in the files. Everybody can open this at the same time and start working together. So you can put the project name, who are the guys who are preparing this, and try to fill in all this in the template. And then you can close this to save. And it will automatically be saved and updated every time you open it. So in the end, you can keep changing as per the requirement, as per the comments given. So it will be a dynamic kind of formatting, okay? And in the end, you can just download this and upload it as like a final report.
Yeah, very good idea. And in fact, every time you are updating it, change the versions, change the version control. Because version 1 will be something, then version 2, there is an update, version 3. So that way, you will demonstrate that you know how to change the version control history. And the author's name can say, version 1 was partially written by Deepak, version 2 is updated by Jai, version 3 could be by Tarun, so that way you will get a very good version control history here.
All right, we'll do that.
Okay. So when do you think you can submit this?
Sir, 1 week time.
If you take 1 week, the next class will be very close. Maybe you can take a little less than 1 week so that we can also give you some feedback in the next. So what about 4 days? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So Wednesday, at the end of Wednesday, is it be okay to fill this in?
Yes.
Okay. Can I hear some other yeses from others? It's a collaborative instead of doing individual assignment.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then by Wednesday, if you do, then we will get any feedback to be given to you in the next Saturday class.
Okay.
Okay. And as I told you, do not go for any detail or the accuracy. The idea here is not about the domain knowledge. The idea is about knowing how to write a feasibility report. Okay, just use the template and that should be fine. And keep these templates. In real life, you can use these templates. And when you're going for interviews, you will say, I have written feasibility reports. And someone will say, okay, what are the content? What did you write in the feasibility? So you should be able to say that I had first defined the problem, then I looked at all the alignments, all the risk rewards, all the benefits, financial feasibility, operational capability. And then at the end, I have been able to recommend whether the project is feasible or not feasible. And at the end, I wrote the executive summary. And by the way, I also know in the feasibility report how to write the version controls and how to get the signatures for approvals with dates. This is very good skill of a project manager. Okay, many good project managers don't know this, but today you have known this. So you are one step ahead of many others who hasn't had this course attended. So good, I will end today class. We have taken a little extra today being the first day, but next time onwards, I'll try to be within the 3 hours. Any questions before we end today? Okay, if there are no questions, then all good. Remember, we have all the time to ask questions in the next class. It's a progressive development and there is no pass or fail. Everyone passes provided you know about the competency that is required to be known. And you will get multiple attempts to correct your competency. But at the end, when you say I've got competency, means you now know what is a project, what are the methodologies, what are the 10 functions of project manager, and how to write the first document as a project manager called the feasibility report. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so say happy afternoon to all of us. Happy good afternoon to all of us.
Happy.
Happy good afternoon. For me, it's past 6 o'clock here. So for me, it's evening. Okay, so we will see you next Saturday again at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And Gaurav and Professor Praveen, that we will stay back. I have to discuss something with you. Others can log out.
I'll stop the recording.
Yeah, you can stop the recording.